Welcome back to you all. We're gonna do something fun now. We're gonna do some reversed pitching. So normally startups, of course, need to pitch their story to a bunch of investors, but now, the mouse becomes the cat and the cat becomes the mouse, let's say. We have 15 impact investors who are gonna pitch why you should ask them for money. If you have any questions as viewers, there's a little chat box where you can put your question, and if it's interesting enough, I will choose to ask the question to the relevant pitcher. Let's quickly start because we have 15 people pitching, and the first one is Divin Kang from the North Impact Investments. The floor is yours. Each of you has 3 minutes.
Well, great. I'm not Divin, but I'm Kai. I'm the managing founder of True North Impact Investments. Divin, are you on the line? Because you have the slides, so it would be great if you were, but otherwise I'll just do this off the cuff. We are out of Toronto, and I'm sorry, I'm just joining really late. Divin is being told she's been kicked out. How do I do this? Okay, sorry guys. Technology. Can you still see me?
Now I can't. Before I could. Now I see someone else. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that you, Divin?
Yes, hello.
Divin, can you pull up the slides, please? That'd be awesome.
Sorry, I just joined, so I think I missed all of that.
No, it's all right. We're having some technical difficulties. If you could just pull up the slides and then we can speak to them, that'd be awesome.
Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and share our presentation.
Remote working nowadays.
There we are.
Okay, great. So we're finally here. True North, we like mountains, yes. We are Canadian, proudly so, but we've been making impact investments for about 2.5 years now, really as a hobby, to be frank. But early this year, we had a real big event with COVID. We supplied about $100 million worth of N95 masks to the Canadian government. And as you can imagine, that's probably our biggest impact so far. So with that, overnight, we became a tens of millions of dollars company. We had to become way more professional and start building up our portfolio, start raising more capital to really make this a career of it. And so here we are today. What we are looking for are globally minded impact investing firms that focus on early and growth stage companies and have an positive impact on society and the planet. This shouldn't be new to anybody, but what is different about us is we will look globally, because we did a market scan of our environment, and for funds that are of our size, they do exist in Canada and North America, but funds that are our size that look for impact globally, that's relatively new. Because while investors diversify risk by looking for international investments, why shouldn't impact investors? And that's really our niche, our shtick. And we look for ventures abroad as well as in North America. Next slide, please. So impact investing shouldn't be new to anybody here on the line, but we need an impact, but we also need a return, because our fund shrinks if we don't get a return, right? So to have more impact in future years, we need to straddle a line between return-bearing investments as well as pure impact-focused philanthropy. And we think the sweet spot is right there in thematic investments, which is where we focus, where we will have, of course, a social and environmental positive impact, but we do need market returns for us to continue to grow the fund. Next slide, please. Taking a look at the space, it's fairly crowded in North America, as you can see. However, we do think there's a little bit of a white spot for funds our size with a global focus, as I said earlier. And next slide, please. And a quick overview into what we've invested in so far. We invested in a vertical farming company out of Toronto. Makes a lot of sense, right? The urban centers are always looking for green produce and locally grown. So how do we do that? We bring it to them. While Toronto is building over farmland, they have lots of unused warehouse space. So that's vertical farming in urban areas. We have a retirement brand being built in the East Coast, Stonemont Retirement. The age. Oh, I was just kicked out. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're still on.
Okay, great. We have Arx, which is a construction material company in Brazil building with innovative insulated concrete form blocks. So unskilled labor can build houses quicker, and these houses are more green because they are more energy and efficient and better insulated. And of course, 17 million N95 masks for Canada. We recently closed that deal. And yeah, that's us in a nutshell. Yeah, we'll be happy to answer any questions and talk further.
Great. Thank you, Kai. Thanks for speeding things up to catch up on some lost time. Thank you. I don't think we have any questions. So thanks.
All right. Thank you.
On to the next one. And that's Michel de Rijk from the Stichting Doen. The floor is yours, Michel.
Thanks. Stichting Doen. Doen Participatie is actually the investment arm of the Doen Foundation. Let me share my screen and hope technology doesn't fail on me.
You're closer.
So do you also see it now in the presentation modes? Perfect. Yes. So my name is Michel de Rijk. I work for Doen Participaties, which is the investment arm of the Doen Foundation, or Stichting Doen, an Amsterdam-based foundation set up by the Nationale Postcode Loterij, the Postcode Lottery, over 30 years ago already, with the aim to support initiatives that make the world more green, socially inclusive, and creative. And first, the idea was to do that through donor money, through grants. But soon they actually realized if you want to make the world more green and socially inclusive, you shouldn't only provide grants, like the lotteries do themselves, but also invest in entrepreneurs, invest in people who run their business successfully, while also making a positive impact, positive social, environmental impact. And that's when Doen Participaties has been set up, also over 25 years ago, as a 100% subsidiary of the Doen Foundation. And Doen Participaties invests using convertible loans, direct investments, fund investments, all to make, like I said, the world more green and socially inclusive. And with the aim to show that financial returns actually can go hand in hand with impact. And it works because we're currently a revolving fund. We can pay our salaries by proceeds of exits, of dividends, and we can use that money as well to invest again and actually also double our impact. So Doen as a whole provides grants where necessary. We invest where possible. Currently in the fields of sustainable energy, sustainable food systems, circular entrepreneurship, and social inclusion, mainly in our base here in the Netherlands, but also in East Africa and India. This is an overview of our portfolio, about 70 investments currently under management. And you can also see a bit of our strategy here, where we do seed fund a lot of startups, initiatives in their early stages. We're really a catalytic funder, and we can, while they mature, while they become more successful, also impactful, we can make follow-on investments. And we're very impact first. We tend to say impact first, second, third. And we're quite a patient investor. So we don't have investors of our own that we have to provide returns to. So we can stick around as long as needed. And we're super flexible. We can use each type of instrument. We look at it on a case-per-case basis, what is most suitable. And we have a huge network. So we have a network of co-funders, a lot of startups in our network where we like to link to each other. But we also have this huge communications network from the lotteries. So they reach millions of people, which is quite interesting if you're a consumer-facing product. The Dutchies might see some familiar names here, like Sepia or Naïef in the care space, for example, or the sustainable smartphones, Fairphone. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for startups that we can support through the scale-up phase as well. looking for pioneers, people that try to do something that hasn't been done before, bold people, bold entrepreneurs who are brave in their operations, but still also obviously build a financially sustainable business as well. If you want to maximize the impact in the long run, it needs to be scalable, and we really need to believe in the team. So if you recognize yourself in this, contact me.
Thank you, Michelle. I have a question of my own. Has COVID changed the way, or has COVID changed your focus? I mean, I can imagine that you were maybe less interested in healthcare before COVID struck, and that you're now changing a bit towards that direction, to give an example.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that you mentioned the healthcare sector, because that used to be one of our exclusions, because we get our funding from the lotteries, and the idea is that they do support a lot of non-profits already in the healthcare space. So Doen does not necessarily support healthcare initiatives, although we now see, especially, for example, in the energy space, that there are more crossovers popping up. So energy initiatives that now also focus on mobile swap units, on solar panels, for example. So there we become a bit more flexible, definitely because of COVID. But it's not that we now completely are focusing or changing our focus in that sense.
I know that the postcode lottery has been expanding to other countries in Europe over the last years. The same thing goes also for your foundation. Do you have a Doen Foundation also in, I don't know, England, Sweden, Germany nowadays?
There is a similar type of foundation in Sweden, Stiftelsen. I know you do speak a bit Swedish, right? I don't.
Oh,
but
svenska. Yeah.
But I think they're looking, they're trying to see whether it's possible, but it's also, I think, dependent on the legislations and the regulations in these countries, whether it's possible. I think for us, it's quite unique that we have the foundation and the 100% subsidiary, which is a for-profit, and that structure is not necessarily possible to set up in these countries. So, but we definitely do share all of our learnings with the people from the lotteries and related entities.
Yeah. So and startups and scale-ups from all of Europe are welcome to get some money in Holland from you.
For us, it's mainly the Netherlands and the countries where the lotteries are active as well. So that's Germany, the UK, Sweden, and recently Norway as well. But then outside of these regions, it's emerging regions in Africa and India primarily.
Okay. Thank you very much, Michelle. Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome.
On to the next one, and that's Roy Kleink from ABN AMRO.
Correct. So, hi. We as a team match companies with private investors. Our team is named Informal Investment Services, and we work for ABN AMRO. My name is Roy Kleink. Informal investment is defined as getting capital as well as know-how, experience, and network. Capital of a private person to invest in a non-listed company. If you plot informal investors in a graph with the life cycle phase of a company on the X and the capital required on the Y-axis, it looks like this. And most of the time, companies start using money of the founders, and the friends and family. And once your company is about to make revenue, informal investors or crowdfunding could be the next form of funding. Later on, VC money is involved, a longer history is needed, and the amounts of capital are higher. We as Informal Investment Services match companies with investors. We are independent, meaning that we also match companies that are not banking with ABN AMRO Bank. We don't give advice to the entrepreneur or investor, and we are not involved with the negotiations between them. We have over 20 years of experience, and we did over 180 deals. Typically, a company funds up to 400,000 euros. We have a large network of investors of over 800 people. The number is still growing. And all the investors are banking with private banking. So it's an exclusive service for ABN AMRO meest recent clients. Out of 500 companies, we select only 30 to 40 companies. We see a deal conversion of 50%. We do use our own platform that's only accessible for our clients. So it's not a public platform. And with this platform, we match companies to our relevant investors. So all our investors are private banking clients. They have at least 1 million capital freely disposable. They earn their capital because they are entrepreneurs themselves. Maybe they are still in business, maybe they sold a company. Either way, they combine their entrepreneurial way of thinking with their own capital to invest. November 30, we have our sustainability pitch day. Then 5 companies, all within the impact, have the possibility to pitch to our network of investors. So you remember, we have over 800 investors. That is why we are in a good position to help you with our matching services. I'd like to hear from you, so here are my contact details. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. So one more time, the date that you have this big pitch day?
Yeah. November 30th, 30.
November 13th. Okay. Are there any questions for Roy? No? Okay. Thank you, Roy. Then it's a matter of 3 minutes before we start with the next one, right? Or, oh, we already have them ready. Oh, Q&A. Questions popping up. On to the next one. Now I have some questions. Oh, technology sucks. Okay, do we have Michelle of Doen still on? Michelle, are you still there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a question for you, which is now gone. Oh my God. Oh, there it is. Do you also provide blended, what is it, blended? Blended support, partly investment and partly providing grants to companies. Now I understand.
Yeah.
You understood the question? Yeah?
Yes, yes, I did. Yes, we do. And that's, I think, one of the added values of having the combination of the foundation and the investment arm. So what we typically do is when it's super early stage, let's say pilot phase or right after, we support initiatives with a grant. Can be a grant and a loan combined, but typically a grant, and then later on, if the company is ready for it, we can provide investment capital as well. In general, we don't use different instruments at the same time. So we really look at the phase of the company and which instrument is most suitable, and also teaming up with other investors in different stages.
Okay. Then there is a question for True North. Can you hear me, Divin? What type of companies, themes are you specifically interested in? Can you be more specific, is the question.
Sure. So we actually focus on the UN SDGs. So we're actually raising for our Fund 1 right now this fall.
What, that was short for what?
The UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Aha.
So that's what we base our themes on. So we have climate change, digital or health and wellness, as well as urban intensification. So if you go to our website, truenorthimpact.com, we list all of our 3 themes, and we divide them into 6 different areas. And we really look for ventures that in each of those 6 areas. So we try and cover as much ground as we can.
Okay, thank you, Divin. Thank you all 3 in the first block. We're now on to the second one. I hope we have the new pitchers lined up. We don't? Yeah, we have them. We're going to have now 4, so we're going to speed things up. In the next 3 blocks, we're going to have 4 instead of 3. So we even need to be faster than we already were. The first one is Ali Nayafbagi. Ali Nayafbagi. Ali, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks very much.
How I was horrible at pronouncing your name. How do I do it properly?
It was pretty good. It's Najaf Begi, so you weren't far off.
Najaf Begi. Where's it from?
It's from Iran originally.
Iran. Okay. You are from 4impact.vc. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Thanks very much, Sander. So, 4impact.vc, we are a venture capital fund based here in The Hague, in the Netherlands. Been going to ImpactFest for the last 4 years, and I'm really excited to be part of it this year, in the 5th year. We started last year with our fund, and we invest in Dutch headquartered startups, which contributes to any of the 17 SDGs, as long as your business model is based on a software solution. Secondly, we look at companies that have or are starting to get some international traction. That can be to any country in Europe or anywhere else. And that's where kind of our strengths and expertise comes in. A bit of background with respect to myself and also the co-founders of the fund. A couple of us spent many years at investment banks and other funds, mostly abroad, in the US, in the UK, and in the Middle East. So that's where kind of the international expertise comes from. So if you want to scale up to different countries, 4impact it would be a good partner for you. The phase that we invest in is relatively early stage, but not super early stage. So typically not pre-seed, but from seed to Series A. The ticket sizes that we do are typically between 250 and 500K. We can do a little bigger, we can do a little smaller. Happy to co-invest, of course. And we know the impact investing landscape in Europe and more broadly pretty well. So we've done some individual deals and joint deals. Sander, you already mentioned our website, where you can see the type of deals that we've done for impact.vc with 4. And that's the background to our fund. So happy to leave it there or answer any questions at this stage.
Thank you, Ali. I like that you're very plain and direct and concrete. Ticket sizes and all of that. I like that. Yeah.
All that.
On to the next one. That's Martijn Starre from the Rabobank.
Thank you, Sander. I'm going to share a presentation as well. This should work. All right. Can anyone see this? I hope so. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martijn Starre, and I'm working for Rubberbank as a startup and scale banker. Well, if you have any questions about the pitch, please let them know in the comments or see my email address below on this slide. For those who don't know the Rabobank, we're a retail and commercial bank in the Netherlands and a global leader in the food and agribusiness. Our mission is growing a better world together. But to get to a better world, we need to rethink everything we do. That's why we foster innovation. But what does this mean for you as a startup or a scale-up? Well, we know the world is facing a lot of new challenges, and to tackle those challenges, we need innovation. This doesn't normally come from the corporate companies, but starts small in incubators, or maybe even at home. But how do we reach out to the startups and scale-ups if we don't speak the same language? This is why Rubberbank launched a whole new team this year. It's the startup and scale-up team. This new team of specialists assists the local account managers of the Rabobank in their conversations with you. So my colleagues and I continuously speak with startups and scale-ups and relevant parties for the target group. This is important because this way we are able to add value to your company in every stage of the life cycle. We focus on advice. We focus and advise you on 3 pillars. The first is funding. I'll get back to that one later on. The second one is knowledge. We conduct research and developments in every industry, so we can feed you with relevant data and you can focus on getting the company to the next phase. And the third pillar is network, like hooking you up with VCs already on board in this call, or maybe introduce you to corporate customers of the Rabobank. We are still improving our proposition, learn from our target group, what is it you're looking for, and how can we help you with this? And what do we need to change within the Rabobank to make this happen? Here is the funding pillar. So this is a very broad pillar, from opening a bank account to even private equity investments. Let me illustrate at least one example of a specific, very unique loan for a commercial bank. It's the Rubberbank Innovation Loan. It's a subordinated loan for innovative companies in the proof of concept stage. So it's a very early stage with a max of 150K. One of the requirements is that you have a market introduction ahead of you, or at least within 2 years. If you receive this loan, it also gives you access to our network and knowledge. For all specs, please check our site. Of course, not every product on this overview is suitable for every stage in the life cycle of your company. After talking to you and based on the information provided to us, we make an assessment based on team, product and market fit, business model, and finance. So Rabobank really is an innovation partner. We know that we need others as well to bring innovation to the next level. That's why we're involved in over 130 partnerships globally, especially in Holland. You can meet us almost everywhere, from ImpactCity here in The Hague to Brightlands in Geleen, Limburg, but also in the north of our country. It does not depend on the industry in which you work, but on the impact you can make with your innovation. So if you need a partner who can help your company grow, Rubberbank Start and Scale Up team is there during your bumpy road to success. Only if we work together, we can make the transition to a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Martijn. You are the second bank in this reverse pitching competition.
Really?
I'm not even sure, is it a competition? Do we have a winner? No, it's not a competition, no. But I mean, a bank is not really an investor, is it? I mean, you're basically just facilitating impact investment, right?
No, not only facilitating. We also invest early stage, depending on the industry you're in. Food and agriculture is very important because we are in the beginning in the food and agri bank, but it's also more mainstream. So we do believe healthcare is important for Holland and also worldwide. So we invest there as well. But what I just showed is that we are also possible early stage to facilitate you with a loan. Yeah. But when are you a bank providing a loan and when are you an investor investing? What the difference is, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, well, it's another team. We have the Chinese wall, so it's we can hook you up with them, and we try to really to help. Yeah. So well, we try to have an argument. The investment team thinks it's a good idea, and the bank department thinks it's a bad idea. It could be, yeah. Okay. Yeah, if we talk to startups and we think, well, it's really important for maybe the landscape, or is really an innovator in this industry, then we can be very enthusiastic. We can ask our VC department, our corporate investments department, and they could say, well, we've seen a lot of those. We already invested in one, so we don't go aboard. So please, you can do it, but we skip this one. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. I have another question for you, Martijn, now that I still have you. You mentioned that you'll be able to get access to Rabobank's network. What does that look like? Well, Rabobank is a very big bank, so we've got a lot of wholesale companies as a customer. So what we're trying to do is, if we think that a startup has a very innovative idea, or is really changing the way we normally changing the way we normally think, then we can hook you up with relevant customers, wholesale customers. Yeah. So introduce you there, and maybe they can help you innovating the company. But you already introduced a lot of companies to, like, let's say, hospitals to start their pilots there. So helping them also in our network. Yeah. Thank you, Martijn. Ali, are you still around?
Absolutely.
Great. I also have a question for you. Can you provide an example of how you helped a company scale to another country?
Yeah, sure. Happy to do that. So if we look at actually our first investment called Envision, it's a company that uses the cameras on the back of your mobile phones, as well as smart glasses, to help the nearly 300 million blind people globally to hear what we can see through artificial intelligence and text and object recognition. So this company was set up by a couple of guys from India, actually, who studied in Delft, set up the company here, and went international from day one. Where we helped them, I'm going to answer your question in reverse, is we actually helped them to reduce the number of countries that these guys went to. Mm-hmm. So it's the typical thing for VCs to look at either expanding to new countries and grow. But the other typical thing that we have to do, we have to be super disciplined about, is focus. So rather than giving you kind of the standard answer of how we helped one company go from country A to country B, we actually help these guys to reduce the number of countries so they can actually focus on how to target those countries with their specific cultures and specific legal structures, and of course, specific commercial structures. So now they're active in 5 core countries, but they are generally active in about 60 countries. But their core focus now is in these 5 countries. And that's a tough trade-off to do, but it's a fun thing to do as well.
You help killing darlings.
We help basically focus. Killing is such a nasty word, although I realize... Sorry for that. I'm wearing my wood chopper shirt today, so we do have some wood to chop afterwards.
Okay. Thank you, Ali. On to Lisa Jordan from the DRK Foundation. Lisa, are you there? Hi, Lisa. You seem to be muted. I can't hear you. I can see you, but now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me, yeah? And can you see my screen?
I can.
Very good. So let me just get right into it. Hold on, play from start. There we go. So Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation is new to both ImpactFest and new to The Hague. We're going to launch tonight at 5 o'clock, and I hope many of you are going to join us for this exciting event. We find, fund, and support social impact enterprises that have exceptional leadership and innovative ideas that can scale. We have been around since 2002, operating predominantly from the United States, and our portfolio has 176 social entrepreneurs in the portfolio. Our model is to look for social enterprises that can really tackle the most complex social challenges in the world. We deploy capital to both for-profit and nonprofits for growth. Our capital is both patient and catalytic, with an aim to generate outsized impact. And we offer a one-time, unrestricted, early-stage investment of $300,000, regardless of whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. The support comes with a full team of 40 professionals behind it. We will sit on your board for 3 years and help you scale your enterprise with our professional team that has a variety of different types of skill sets, from branding to valuation to product development, et cetera. We'll work with you for 3 years, and then it is our hope that your model will be able to impact 10,000 lives or more, and many, many, many of our entrepreneurs have been able to do that. So we become operating partners to the entrepreneurs by taking that board seat in every organization in our portfolio. We engage with a network of other funders, experts, and entrepreneurs who also help new entrepreneurs, the 176 that are in our portfolio, to be able to achieve impact at scale. And we're pretty relentless in ensuring the highest likelihood of success for each organization's intended impact. This is a snapshot of our portfolio where you can see the different kinds of issues. So we are issue agnostic. We really come in post-pilot and pre-scale. So that's the stage where we're looking to make the investment. And we work all over the world. And I'm really happy to say that as of today, we're going to be working in the Netherlands as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So you're mentioning that you will launch tonight here in the Netherlands. You were already active before in Europe?
Yes, we have 7 portfolio organizations that are already here in Europe. So I've been working here for the last year to build a first tier of organizations to support. So we have 2 in the Netherlands.
And how do you feel as an American investing in Europe? Is the cultural difference huge, or is it not that bad?
There is a big cultural difference, actually. There's a really big difference in the way in which venture capitalists operate in Europe. And, we come from a venture capital background. So we are a venture philanthropy, but we come from Silicon Valley, which has from the Bill Draper and Robin Richards, who have one of the most famous venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. So the atmosphere is quite a bit different.
How do you select companies to invest in?
So we look for 2 things. We look for a model that can scale, as scaling is very, very important to us. And we look for extraordinary leadership. Okay. So these are the 2 most important things.
Scalability and personality.
Scalability and leadership.
Leadership. Good.
Not always the same as personality.
No, that's true. Thank you, Lisa. On to the next one. That's Alex Cromwell from Pureterra Ventures. Alex, are you there?
Sander, I am. Yes, thank you. My apologies for the still picture. I can either speak or be seen, not both at the same time. So we'll run from there.
We'll choose you having, by audio.
There you go. I'll jump right in. Alexander Kroll, Managing Director of Pureterra Ventures. Today, look, I could have put up a bunch of slides that could show the water or environment issues facing us, but if you're involved in this particular event, you've all seen them. So simply put, Pureterra Ventures was constructed because we believe the current system of investing capital is basically broken. For far too long, impact has been a topic of conversation, and we at Pureterra have a bias for action. We invest our time and our capital at the root level of innovation. It is here that impact created can have the largest effect. Pureterra invests in water technologies that can basically upset the status quo, that can make a paradigm shift in addressing water scarcity. So our ticket sizes that we normally look at are 1 to 4 million, and usually early stage, somewhere past seed for sure. To really sum it up, we'll bet on if it'll sell, but we won't bet on if it'll work. So for us, as an organization, we don't view investments that create situational change sustainable, or those types of investments that really don't make a dent in the SDG 6 goal. We look at ourselves as a conduit to actually deliver high impact technologies and create a long-term addition to environmental sustainability. So for us as well, what's really important is network and ecosystem, because monetary or capital being injected into an early stage company, it's just not enough. So to be able to surround yourself with organizations, groups, bodies globally that are out there is uber important. A lot of these early stage companies, they fail because of not what they don't know, it's because of who they don't know. That next handshake, that next introduction, those are the things that can really make a difference to an early stage company. So for us, Pureterra puts a lot of effort in fostering these relationships with organizations that have synergy with us, in looking at the way that investment is currently done has to be changed, and that we need to get back to the grassroots level of innovation to really make a sustainable difference. So organizations like WaterSpark, if you haven't heard of them yet, you certainly will. Organizations like the Unknown Group, these groups have a bias for action as well. And listen, I'd really like to thank you guys for having us here and being able to do the reverse pitch. I'll pause there, and if you're looking to get in touch with us, we have a info@pureterra.com.
Thank you, Alex. I'm just wondering, what is water technology? I mean, that's not building a dam, right? It's more high tech than that. Can you name an example?
Not even. Sure, not a problem. It's not even high tech. You know, globally, if you look at the basic person living in a city or a town or a village, and they have a municipal water supply, they really have no clue where the water comes from. So that water that's provided, either on a municipal level, you know, it's coming from ground source aquifers, or you know, some source of water. It needs to be treated and brought up to standard. Or if it's a technology that can take an industry, a wastewater stream from an industry, and treat it to be able to be put back into the environment in a safe manner. So basically, any technology that can affect water or create or create the ability for people in areas of scarcity, or soon in areas of scarcity, to be able to have access to safe, clean drinking water. The mission of Pureterra is clean water for all, and that's what we strive to accomplish with the fund.
Great, thank you, Alex. Yeah, I'm afraid we need to keep on going. So on to the next 4 pitchers. Thank you all for the last 4 ones. On to the next 4 ones. Do we have them ready? Yes, we do. The first one I'm going to announce is Laura Kramer. She's from Rubio Ventures. Laura, can you hear me?
I do.
Hi, Laura. The floor is yours.
All right. So, hi, everybody. My name is Laura. And 6 years ago, the Netherlands was still called the impact black hole of Europe. And this is why we founded Social Impact Ventures and became the largest private impact fund of the Netherlands. Fast forward to today, we've just closed our new fund. We aim to double in size to 80 million, and we have a new name, Rubio Impact Ventures, because we believe that impact investing is here to stay. We've crossed the Rubicon. So our mission is unchanged. We want to show that maximum impact and financial return go hand in hand by investing in the fastest growing impact change makers of the Netherlands. So you can come to us for funding between 500K and 6 million. If you are that super ambitious entrepreneur that is solving a societal issue with a scalable business model, with proven market traction and significant measurable impact. What we can offer you is a team of former entrepreneurs and VC veterans that will be your ally in managing for maximum impact while also coping with your growth pains, because we've been there before. So we will be there on the next steps, either by doing a follow-on round ourselves or connecting you to our network of international VCs. So impact will be at the core of our investment process all the time. And we will challenge you to make the most of it as well, to make your impact goals concrete. And we practice what we preach. So our own remuneration system is also tied to the impact our ventures achieve when we exit. So if you want to show the world that that your business can be a force for good and scale it to the next level, reach out to me, laura@rubio.vc. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I have one question from our viewers. What are your key impact indicators?
So we always start with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, but the impact indicators really depend per company. So we will always look, what is the theory of change of the company we support? What is the goal they want to achieve? And conclude with the company itself what the impact indicator most fitting is.
You're not focusing on any kind of branch like the previous speaker who was only into water stuff?
No, so we focus on a geography, so the Netherlands mostly,
yeah.
Water stuff.
Water stuff. Yeah, no.
Water stuff can definitely come to us.
Yeah.
Can definitely come to us.
Yeah.
We focus on 3 broad segments. So circular solutions, anything to do with getting a better ecosystem and circular economy. We have healthy living, so everything that helps people live a longer and healthier life.
Yeah.
And in the end, people power, empowering people to make the most of their lives. Think of education or giving people access to the workspace.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. On to the next one. That's Edward de Jager from WeShare. Edward, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
I see an email box, which is also interesting.
That's not the idea, I think. You see it now?
Might be some delay. Nope. No.
I think somebody else is sharing their screen, so they should stop doing it.
Yeah.
You see it now?
No.
Okay, well.
Yeah, there we are.
Sorry?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, good. Well, I'm Edward. I'm Edward. I'm founder of two companies, Ventures One and a not-for-profit foundation, WeShare. I've been an entrepreneur myself. I've built several companies, and now I've become a venture capitalist. Very quickly about Ventures One. At Ventures One, we support startup and scale-ups right after the product market fit. We have an office in Singapore and in Holland. We invest up to about 3 million. Obviously, we love to participate in companies who create impact. The main reason for me being here is to present WeShare. I have set up a not-for-profit foundation, which is called WeShare. What we do at WeShare is we supply grants, so not-for-profit funding to seed startups who want to be active in impact and try to solve the sustainable development goals. Basically, what we have developed is a revolving funding model, which basically means that we supply seed capital up to 100K to a startup trying to make impact. Once the startup is successful, we expect the startup to start funding new startups through the WeShare Foundation. So basically, it's a paying forward system, whereby you first receive funds to create impact, and once you are successful, you give back to the community and support the next startups. We get our donations from successful entrepreneurs, corporates, other foundations, and the conditions we supply funds is basically on a grant basis, but we expect the startup we give funds to give 1% of their shareholding back to the community. And also the funds which are created through this 1% shareholding will be used for funding the next generation of startups. Well, that's it in short.
Edward, what kind of companies did you have yourself?
I built an international company in the insurance, financial and legal industry, which I exited about a year ago. But I've not been involved in the management of this company for about 8 or 9 years. but they've all been in the area of insurance and legal industry.
Yeah. You mentioned that you would, or that WeShare invests up to 100,000 euros in startups.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
I think if you start a company from a seed base, then 100K is quite important, especially in the beginning of startups. There are lots of failures.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why these failures exist is that there is no patient capital in this lifetime of the business. So by supplying or granting some initial funding on a very patient basis, we are sure that the chance of surviving for the startup is much bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Are you also investing in non-profits?
Yeah, we do. As long as you are impact driven and have a clear view on how to solve one of the United Nations SDGs.
Yeah. One more viewer question. Is the interest rate 1% of the revolving fund?
No, we ask the startup to give 1% of his shareholding to our community. The returns on this 1% shareholding, either by dividend or when the startup exits, will be reused to fund the next generation of startups. And we also ask the founders of the startup to also give donations to WeShare to fuel the next generation.
Yeah. Thank you, Edward. Let's go to Jessica. Jessica is from No Such Ventures. Kind of a cool name. Jessica, are you there? Hi, Jessica.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. And are you able to see my screen?
I am. So
okay.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. So hello, we are No Such Ventures. We are a startup ourselves. So part of us like to connect with entrepreneurs in terms of your pains and also your excitement in scaling your business. So we are a new type of VC firm that are investing 2 to 8 million euros to help high growth companies realize their ambition. We help in realizing your growth strategy. And unlike traditional venture firms, we don't have a single fund that's a one fund fits all policy. So we are backed by a group of strategic LPs. Most of them are angel investors from various backgrounds, including many of them have founded their own startups. Some of them are lawyers, marketers, and they are highly engaged and active in our investments and partnering with our entrepreneurs. So we really try to bring value to the entrepreneurs that we partner with. And our LPs are, as we mentioned, highly engaged, and they can support you in a variety of ways, from connecting you to recruiting and sales to getting involved in finance and legal. Each of our deals are extremely flexible, so there's no pressure to deploy capital. We really aim to make the best investments possible, and our focus is on long-term value creation. So our mission statement really is to connect people together, grow together in dedicated missions and unconventional ideas. Here you can see a brief page of our team. As I mentioned before, we're also a startup, so we're looking to grow, and we are looking to bring on 2 new investors within the next quarter. Reinder is our founder, and to get in touch with us, you can either reach out to him or to me at jess@nosuchventures.com.
Where are you based, Jessica?
I'm personally currently in Amsterdam. And normally I spent my last couple of years in Madrid, so I'm normally based out of Madrid. I'm looking to go back recently, but Reinder and the rest of the No Such Ventures team sit in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam based, okay. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, startups helping startups. Sounds good.
Exactly.
On to the next one, that's Elena. Can you hear me, Elena? No sound yet. I can see you. I can't hear you, Elena.
Okay, now you can hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Was just sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Which I hope you can see now.
Yeah, you are from
Perfect.
Bon Ventures.
Yeah, I'm from Bonventure. We're based in Munich. My name is Elena, and I'll tell you a bit about the first German impact fund, which we set up in 2003 in response to the open question in the market whether it was possible to raise and invest money with the aim of solving social and ecological problems by not donating, but also making a profit at the same time. So the first fund, Bonventure 1, worked out quite well, and we continued setting up further impact funds, leading us to the point which we are in now, which is still investing with our third fund, but we're currently also raising the fourth fund.
Elena, sorry to interrupt. Can you put your presentation on the presentation mode? So
yeah,
that we
sorry,
can
must
all see
be
it a
really
bit better.
small, which you can see now.
That would make, yeah.
Yeah, works out. Perfect.
Dank.
So this slide is supposed to give you an impression of the companies that we invested in. And what it is that you will notice is that they're clustered depending on the societal challenge that they're addressing, which might be to reduce inequalities, deliver quality education, offer improved healthcare, or any other type of problem solvers. But the important thing is that they address an issue that can be found among the 17 SDGs. So we don't focus on one or a couple, but we focus on any company that focuses on one of the SDGs, at least one. And going one step further, you can say that we're a good match if the company fulfills one of the 5 criteria that you can see here. Oh, sorry, my screen locked.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt you again.
Oh, please interrupt if something happens.
No, but I mean, you're telling.
Okay, what you can see is the SDG slide, right?
It's stuck at the for a better future in a better future slide. We still see that one. Yeah, now we say something else.
Okay, okay, it locked again. Okay, but then I will try to just do it on a verbal base.
Yeah.
What you are supposed to see on the next slide is the 5 criteria that we set for our companies, which is first the financial sustainability. So the social business is already on the market and it already generates revenues. And there must be a plausible business model already and a proof of market. The second condition is that there's an innovative character. Because we're looking for new solutions to societal challenges, or at least a new combination of existing solutions. Third one, scalability, meaning that the company is in the later startup phase or in the growth phase and aims for international growth. The fourth is that the company is led by a social entrepreneur, meaning that the product or service is not just doing good by chance, but the management really shows strong profit and impact orientation. And the social impact itself, I already mentioned in the previous slide. But it's important to note that this impact must be the impact that's measured within the SDG goals is realized within German-speaking countries, so Germany, Austria, or Switzerland. And in case we match with these 5 criteria, we can offer you equity, mezzanine capital, or debt funding, starting with 750K up to 1.5 million in the first round. And if you're furthermore looking for an investor who, besides providing capital, actively supports your development and ensures that your impact to society is always held up high, then we might be a good fit, and you can reach out to me, elena.fuhr@bonventure.com. But the address you will also find on the internet of Bonventure.
Yeah. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
So it's actually the second fund of the same organization, more or less, you said at the beginning.
We're raising the fourth fund right now. So we already de-invested the first and the second fund. The third one is still running. But meanwhile, we're raising the fourth fund.
Okay. Thank you so much, Elena. Yeah, it's already 3 o'clock, so we need to go on to the next four, the final four. Let's see if they are ready. I'm talking about Stijn, Suzanne, Sachin, and Felix. Are you guys there? Almost there. Yeah, I see some people showing up. The first one we're gonna listen to is Stijn Jansen from the I Fund. Stijn, can you hear me?
Yes, I think so. Can you hear me?
I can.
Great. So yeah, the I Fund.
You're in Tropicana in Rotterdam.
Virtually, yes. We're based there.
Oh, really? I used to swim there. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, go
ahead. You
ahead.
can't do that anymore, but
no. Isn't it a fungus farm or something? What is it?
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is Rotterdam, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, Rotterdam. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So iFund is an impact investor based in Rotterdam, located in Blue City, which is the old Tropicana. And we invest in 4 different themes, namely renewable energy, plant-based food, water usage, the reduction thereof, and waste, being seen as a resource rather than throwing it away. And iFund was founded approximately 5 years ago by Wouter Veer, who sold his company to a private investor and then quickly realized that he didn't need all the money that he made. And at that time, he was already very aware of the ecological crisis facing us. So he decided to put 10 million money in a foundation, which became the iFund Foundation. And since then, we have invested in around 12 startups, one of which actually is Rotterdam, but also Jack Bean, and most recently Rechtstreeks. We can invest between 200,000 and 2 million euros, which can have different forms. We're quite flexible on that. It can be a simple loan, but also a convertible loan or an equity, a direct equity. And I think for startups, where we add most value is in the really early phases. And this can be threefold. We think we can add knowledge to a startup within our focus team, since we have a lot of experience in these 4 teams. And also we have a network in these teams. So those 2 things are for us very important to be able to contribute. And also for our portfolio companies, we help a lot with structuring their companies towards a next funding round. So because it's so early phase, there's often investors coming after us who invest in the portfolio companies. So that's a bit about our fund. We also invest with co-investors who together with us invest in individual investments. So that allows us to increase the size of our fund further beyond the 10 million, which is very important for us to be able to make more impact. And if you want to reach out to us, it's best to do so by emailing me and my colleagues at info@ifund.nl. So yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Stijn. Now you're pitching, but how do you usually find the companies you want to invest in? You just go on the streets in Rotterdam because everybody's a semi-entrepreneur there?
Yes, one of the key things for us, of course, is the startups in Blue City themselves. We have very close contacts with them, so that's why we got to know Rotterdam as well. And Vet and Lazy is another investment for us. So we're really looking locally mostly as well, and otherwise it's the leads that are coming into our mailbox. So that's probably the best way to reach out to us.
Do you notice an increase of people asking for an investment in these COVID times? In other words, do you see more people starting businesses?
Well, we do see that there's more requests coming after the summer break. So we think that maybe a lot of people have thought for themselves what they wanted to do during the summer break, if they needed more capital following the summer. And we do see that there's an increase in that for fundraising requests on our side. So I think the second wave, we see much more new requests coming in compared to the first wave, I guess. That's definitely a thing. Yeah.
So the people who were home working during the first wave, they took their time to make their business plan.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Stijn. On to the next one. That's Suzanne Kroes. She's from Unique with two I's.
Two Y's, yeah.
Unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
I'll quickly share my screen. Okay. I hope you all have eyes on my presentation now.
Yeah.
I think you do. Great, great. Well, I'm here to briefly pitch Proof of Concept Fund Unique to you guys, a pre-seed stage investment fund established by the universities of the province of South Holland and the Regional Development Agency Innovation Quarter. And we are quite heavily supported by the European Fund for Regional Development. And you might ask, why do we exist? Well, we found that there's still a financing gap in existence for innovative companies in particular. And that's why we provide funding for those young companies working on unique and radical innovations throughout basically all sectors. And I say basically because we exclude typically apps and marketplaces, but we really like hardware and difficult development roadmaps such as cancer therapeutics and the likes. We also like to believe that we follow a clear process with founder-friendly conditions, but it's always best to leave you up to judging that. So these are basically our criteria in a nutshell. We work with convertible notes exclusively of up to 200K at this moment, which we provide in typically 2 installments. Milestone-bound installments, of course, which we together with you lay down. We charge an 8% interest rate, 4% of which is paid immediately after investing, and 4% is added to the lump sum repayment that you start paying back after 3 years. We don't ask any personal liabilities, and I think an added perk, which is not included here, but is definitely true, is that we don't have anything to say about whether we convert or not. So you, the founder, are in charge of deciding to convert us to shares or to simply repay back the loan. So that's nice, I think. Next to the money, we definitely provide you with support because in the very early stage where we invest and in the difficult propositions that we invest in, such as hardware and drug development, you will most certainly need more cash to fund your follow-up technical developments. So our whole process is focused around helping you raise the next round of funding. And that's why we sit down with you guys at least once a month to discuss company strategy, your progress towards the milestones that we've set together, the traction in the market, and your traction with follow-on investors. And for that, we, of course, also open up our own network of follow-on investors to increase your chances there. We can't invest in every single company that knocks on our door. So we have a small set of criteria of companies we can invest in. As mentioned before, we look for unique innovations. No pun intended there, but if I Google your product or your innovation, I don't want to find a dozen other people already carrying out the exact same business plan. We look for exquisite teams, complementary teams. We don't invest in single founders. So if you're still a single founder, a solo founder, but you are looking to expand your team, do reach out to us because, it's a development process, I think, this early stage investment. So we're willing to think with you on what needs to be developed. We're focused on a particular early stage, pre-seed and technology readiness level 3 to 5, meaning that it's all pre-revenue. We like to see it as feasible that you raise follow-on financing. And of course, that goes hand in hand with a test of your business case, as would any venture capitalist. we invest with public money in great part. So we look for a positive impact on society with the investments that we make. And as mentioned, the universities of the province of South Holland have invested in our fund. So we have a regional scope. So your company has to be located in the Southern Holland region. The fund has been in existence for 4 years, and that has led us to a portfolio of 40 highly interesting companies, I feel, ranging from drug development, as mentioned, to hardware developments for application in quantum computing. So do take a look at our website and see if you match our current portfolio. We currently host online pitch sessions, as I think every VC is now doing. And should you want to make an appointment for that, then you can reach out to my colleague, Jennifer Wassenaar. Or if you have specific questions following this brief pitch, reach out to me via my personal email, which you can find here, or stick around for the Q&A, of course.
Thanks, Suzanne. One quick question that came to my mind is, how did you find that sweet spot you showed? Was that trial and error, or was that just the idea from the start?
The 200K?
Yeah.
Yeah. We look to fund companies typically for a period of 12 months. So we don't want to invest too much too soon. And we want to be the right connecting vehicle following the subsidy towards an actual VC round. So I feel that, in between the subsidy space and the VC market space, an investment of a couple of 100Ks is the right match.
Yeah. And then one more question. Why not a single founder? What's wrong with that?
I think founding a company is very hard. And we see that the companies in our portfolio encounter several hurdles in getting their product to market. And it's simply nice and essential that you have a partner next to you with whom you can discuss all the hurdles that you encounter. Not only regarding product development, but also with your own team, with your own company, which is growing, with the follow-on investors, maybe with your own investor in the shape of Unique. So you need someone by your side, not only for sparring sessions, but also because we feel that you can't combine all the assets that you need to be a good entrepreneurial team in one person. So that's why we focus on teams.
And then you need to have at least one equal next to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. On to the next one. Sachin from Resper. Sachin, can you hear me?
Mute. Yes. Hi.
Hi, Sachin.
Hey. Hi. This is Sachin and Bernard. And Bernard
Sachin
is present. Yeah. Can you hear us? Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Interesting to see one of you wearing a face mask. You might ask yourself whether that makes sense. Yeah. Whatever. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll be doing the presentation. So we are from Resper BV. We were founded in 2015 with the idea to link the Asian and...
I think the screen is not shared.
Can you guys see my screen?
No.
All right, wait.
We see you guys.
All right, so let's just
share screen. Yeah.
Share screen quickly. Yeah. There. Right. So as I was saying, Resper was founded with the idea to join the Asian and European markets in premium products. In recent years, we have been trading and specializing in sourcing and supply. We've got a global network with offices in Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, India, and the Netherlands. Recently, we've gotten into quite a few different projects. Our most recent project from 2020 is global COVID relief. So we've supplied PPE products to pretty much most countries in the first world. Then we've also launched a non-alcoholic beer brand to support the local economy in India and provide a fresh alternative in the beverage market. And then also a Dutch dairy Sri Lanka project where we are supporting locals in the dairy industry in Sri Lanka and boosting the economy over there. So yeah, basically we've been recently getting more into investments and supporting startups and scale-ups with a global footprint. Our cap is around 250K, so €250,000, with investment opportunities building up above 250,000. We offer active shareholder support, an executive team, strategies, introduction to stakeholders, and market development. So yeah, we have flexible interest rates based on the company's executive team and the business model, and then we're just looking for companies with basically a global footprint, and like I said, to grow social and economic problems and support.
Thank you, Sachin. I hear some examples in India and Sri Lanka. Is that also a region you're specifically focused on? Correct.
Yes, we mainly focus in third world countries that can really use development and impactful investments. So a lot of companies that are based in the first world that do help support third world countries and develop the economy and the social upbringing there. That's sort of the things that we like to invest in and focus our time on.
And when it comes to the different kind of companies you invest in, what is really the impact focus? What kind of impact you want to make?
So social and economic impact. So building up local markets, building up local villages, supporting local economies, growing local economies, strengthening the local markets and in that sort of sense.
So basically it should also have a commercially sustainable angle attached to the social aspect, but it can be a foundation or a stitching.
Yeah.
Not an issue for us, but we would like it to have a commercial model to sustain it long term with a social upliftment as a goal.
Okay, thank you guys. You're both now in Holland, in Amsterdam?
Correct. So we are based in The Hague.
Yeah.
ImpactCity in The Hague. We're based here.
We can just call The Hague ImpactCity from now on, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're based here, and we prefer for companies to be based quite locally as well.
Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. On to the last one, our final pitcher. Felix Verstel. Sounds very German or Austrian.
And it is. Thank you very much for having me. I'm sharing my screen real quick. So yes, as you heard correctly, it's or read correctly, it's definitely German. We are also a German Munich-based and London-based impact fund. So venture capital fund focusing on impact companies, have been around for over a decade. Started out from the beginning with the mission to show that it's possible to combine financial return with an impact, or from the startup side to show that it's possible to combine a profitable, scalable business model with an impact. And combination really means for us that the impact is inherent to the business model, that there's no trade-off, no conflict of interest between the business side and the impact side, but that as you grow as a company, you grow at the same time in lockstep your business and economic success and your impact success. Now, already in our third fund generation, as I said, started out in 2010. Now in 2020, 50 million euro fund, third fund, where we invest from, have made 27 investments so far, 6 exits over that time, and our investments mainly go to areas like healthcare, education, sustainability, and then what we call equitable humanity. So it's about inclusion. It's about a more equitable society where we like to do investments. Next to that, so our focus where we want to invest in next to sectors, definitely European companies focusing, or mainly in Germany, mainly the UK, but open to all of Europe. Early stage, so seed, Series A, pre-Series A. That's our stage where we want to invest in, and then with initial ticket sizes of 500,000 to 3 million euros, which can go up to 6 or 7 million over the course of the investment period. Next to money, what's really important for us as impact investor, we want to be an holistic impact investor and also protect the mission of our investees, of our portfolio company, through impact requirement clause, that there's no pivot that is just financially driven, but that there's also always that impact protected. We encourage our portfolio companies to become more diverse, to start as diverse, hopefully a diverse founder team, but then also build up diverse teams around them. We want to look at founders' health. We have heard about the stressful times of founders before, so having a team as a founder is definitely a good thing, but then also having coaches around them. So we want to build that, or we build that, provide them with a support structure. And then, of course, environmental footprint is important to reduce, even if that's not in the business or the impact case that you are building up. How to reach me? Just write me an email, ff@ananda.vc. I'm happy to get back to you with and chat about your ideas. That's about it. Open to any questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Felix. Yeah, I was a bit triggered by this so-called equitable humanity. Is that how you explained it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I of course I understand diversity as a need to be successful or as a goal, but can it also be a business model?
Oh, definitely. Can also be a business model, but that's why I separated these two. So there are definitely very interesting startups out there that let's say enhance, increase diversity in companies. And as there are so many studies out there show that diverse teams perform better. So helping companies to become more diverse definitely is a business model. But apart from that, also for our portfolio companies themselves, we think it's quite crucial. We want to foster, we want to push that that they get as diverse as possible and implement the strategies there. And sometimes building up companies, it's a super stressful time that can't fall off the agenda, and we want to make sure that it's up there.
Yeah, you also mentioned supporting the mental health of the people you invest in. How do you do that?
So right now, thanks for the question. Very good question. So we just started out with that. So at the moment, it's providing guidance on founders coaching. So it's definitely not us as investors that you have to discuss everything about. But we build up a supporting coaching structure around us where we can lead the founders to.
Okay. Yeah, we're out of time. I have many more questions, but I can't ask them because we need to go. Thanks you guys. Also the last 4. Yeah, these were all 15. That nobody wins. You as the viewer win because you have 15 investors to pick. Thank you all for watching.